Okay, welcome to the ZBA meeting. My name is Conrad Stuntz and I'm the chair of the Village ZBA, Zoning Board of Appeals. Tonight's meeting, what we're going to start with, we start with our public hearing first. So the general flow of public hearing is we have, I'm catching everyone up to speed here, so we'll go from there. Basically, a public hearing is an application was put forward to the code enforcement officer. The code enforcement officer turned it down. A applicant is now asking for an appeal on that application, saying we feel like this is something reasonable we could be doing. And so now our board hears that appeal. We start with a public meeting or public hearing, basically where people got to give public input about what they think about this proposal. Okay, so there's a two-step process that happens. One is the board listens to all the input from everything that's going on. We'll hear from Tim Nolan, the code enforcement officer. We'll hear from the applicant, the Ciscos. Is that correct? Am I saying that correctly? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay.
Should be. That's it.
Are you unmuted?
Yeah, you're unmuted. Yeah. So is it Ciscos or
Chicos?
Chicos? Okay, Chicos. There we go. I'll do my best. So
That's
just gonna throw something at me if I get it wrong again.
That's no problem.
All right, Chicos. So we'll hear from the applicant about why they would like this variance. We're looking at an area variance in this case. And then after that, we'll open up the floor to any public comments and statements to allow further discussion from that. At the end of the public hearing, we have a two-step process. At the end of the public hearing, we close the public hearing, and then the ZBA will go into a meeting where we actually discuss it further. We might ask for further input, but that's really much more where the board discusses. You're welcome to stay and watch during that phase, or whatever. Basically, it's all up to you. Okay. So if you have questions at any point, feel free to basically raise your hand, wave at me. I will ask that the first time you speak, that you introduce yourself, just so that we have your name, how it's supposed to be pronounced for the minutes and for the notes. Okay. Just be fair. Before we get started, let me introduce, I'll have the board introduce themselves, basically, so you know who's who, right? So I'm Conrad Stuntz. I'm the chair of the Village ZBA board. Let's go alphabetical by first name. We'll go to Andy Whittier next.
Andy Whittier. I am the alternate on the ZBA board, and will sit in and vote if needed.
All right. Okay. Barb?
Barbara Beekman, member of the board.
And Caitlin?
Caitlin Gollinger, member of the board.
Great. And Mike?
Mike Snow, member of the board.
Great. Awesome. All righty. So that's your board. Basically, what we have is we have the voting members tonight will most likely be Barb, Caitlin, and Mike, and myself. Okay. An alternate is here in case there's any sort of necessary need for the alternate. Andy a lot of times joins our meetings as a discussion point to help us move things along, and actually sometimes another viewpoint is always helpful in this sort of decisions, right? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead, and any questions from anyone about the general process to start with?
No.
No. Sweet. All right, Tim, can you go ahead and tell us what the what happened on the application process and why this was turned down? So why would it come before us?
Okay, it was denied on the lot coverage was over the 25%. And that's why I denied it. Let me get back to
This is all.
It was due to lot coverage. Maximum lot coverage is 25% per the scheduled use and area height regulations for R2 district.
Okay.
I can go into more detail if you want about how that was calculated.
No, I think that we understand that. Basically, let me just make sure I understand and the board understands the calculations based on the proposed footprint foundation line on the existing lot, correct?
Yes, it was the application was for an addition. Let's clarify that. That was increasing the lot coverage of the existing parcel.
Okay.
Does that make sense to everyone?
Okay.
Any questions on that?
No? Great. All righty.
All right.
Great, thanks, Tim. All right. The applicants, talk to us about why you think we should get a variance.
Okay, okay, we want to put an addition on the house because as of right now, it's a small house. I think it's 1,200 square feet, and on the bottom floor is only like 600 square feet. And as we age, we don't know if we're going to be able to do stairs, and there's only one bathroom, and that's upstairs. So even if you wanted to put a bed down here, and you still have a bathroom upstairs. So that's why we wanted to add a bathroom in the bedroom. And then also that would then also, to make it even or whatever, we increased, like we would have a little dining area. And that's why we want to put an extension on, because we'd like to stay in the house as we age.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
So from the, anything to add, Peter?
Yes, pretty much just, yeah, that's the whole reason.
All right. Great. Okay, so just a general question for you guys. Basically, it sounds like the primary reason for this is an age in place upgrade. Is that?
Yes.
Yes,
So basically, so you're trying to basically, expand your footprint just to allow for basically an aging in place design. It looks like from the design itself, it's a bath, it's a small living area, but it's really like moving the dining room area and the bedroom. Is that
that's correct.
Yes.
okay? Just so I understand fully what's going on, is this a full foundation or is this basically frost walls with crawl space?
It's full foundation. It's foundation, poured foundation.
With the crawl
Crawl space underneath, yeah.
underneath. Yes, a crawl space underneath.
All right, cool, great, okay. And one further question, I'm not sure if you guys know, if Rebecca would know this, or Tim would know this. It looks like your existing structure right now is about 1,300 square, is about
1,200.
1,200 square feet? Okay.
Yes.
And 25% of your lot coverage would allow you to go up to about 1,356 square feet. Is that
Right.
Because 25%, like I took the numbers off of the tax map
Right,
and ran the calculations, the frontage of 48, the depth of 113. Ran the 25% of that, and it looks like around 1,350 would be a maximum coverage. And right, okay, and you're requesting about 1,640, right?
right.
So
Yeah, we asked him about 300 square foot.
right, okay. I mean, you guys are pushing right at the edge already with your size of 1,200. You couldn't, I mean, adding another 10-foot addition would be just
What is that, a bathroom, maybe?
Yes.
maybe, yeah. Okay, all right, well, that's fair. Like, it's an idea of what you're looking for, okay? And this addition, for those of us that aren't looking at the plans, like Davis might not have actually seen the plans for what we're looking for. This is an addition almost straight off the back of the house, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
It would almost be it's a slight step back from that northern wall and then continues along that edge.
Yeah, it's.
And the northeast wall, yeah, that like,
Right.
That's that
right.
side, yeah.
Yeah.
It just goes,
Go straight, so they go
it goes
straight.
straight back.
yeah, okay. And the addition itself is just a single story addition with like a clear story, it's like a pitched roof with a clear story window, is
Yes,
that
the
right?
windows, yes, sir.
Yes.
A single
Okay.
story.
All right, so it's
And the clear story is to face the south side.
yeah, so you get good natural light coming in.
See a little natural light, yeah, because it's very dark.
Yeah, okay. And how big is that deck that you currently have hanging off the back of the house there?
It's a
It's about-
10 by 10, I
No, it's
think.
bigger.
It's bigger.
It's like 14 by
14 by
10.
Yeah, something like that.
Rebecca, do you want to add?
Yeah,
Rebecca,
let me I have the drawing here in front of me. Let me just look at the numbers real quick. If you look it's a little over 100, it's like 100 and, it looks like 160 or something, 165 square feet deck. So the proposed addition is 687 square feet. It's only but it's 518 additional lot coverage because that's like minus the deck.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
we're wanting to add 500, a little bit more than 500 square feet more than what the deck covers. The house itself on the ground is only like 740 square feet. That actually includes their shed and garage. Like that's all of their existing ground cover. So their actual living space is very tiny on that.
Okay, so you did an impervious surface coverage.
Yes.
Okay.
But even just the wood dwelling, like where it says, I don't know if you're looking, I think you're looking at the same drawing I'm looking at now, which says wood frame dwelling, 737 square feet. That's the garage, the porch, like literally everything attached to that building is
Oh, okay.
that 737. It's not 737 plus the other stuff.
Right. Well, a 1,200 square foot with that sort of roof line is going to be, yeah, makes sense for a 700 footprint. Okay.
Yeah, that's 2 square, and that's even then that feels like the real estate agent might have given them a little bit of.
Okay. That was, for those of you not watching, that was Rebecca Weld speaking.
Yes, I'm sorry, Rebecca Wild, Renew Architecture is the architect who helped with the project.
Yeah, great, thanks. All right, awesome. All right, let's. I'm also. I think I have clarification in terms of like what we're looking at. Let's open up to the public in terms of any questions from the public or input from the public, like thoughts or feelings. Go ahead and give me a wave if you'd like to speak. Yeah, go ahead. Go and unmute yourself, guys.
Hi, my name's Ken Williams, and we live next door to the
To Pete and Debbie.
to Pete and Debbie. I'm gonna make it easy.
Don't try
No,
that.
darn it. You're next to me, and I can't see your last name. So, I'm not gonna say- we got a tour of what the proposed addition is on Saturday. Pete took us out in his backyard and showed us where the stakes were and described the proposed addition. And I'm going to speak for myself. I don't have any problems with what they've proposed. I think, we're in a similar situation to Pete and Debbie. I've got cerebral palsy, and eventually we're looking to, have some kind of bathroom on the first floor, because both our houses, there's no bathroom on the first floor. And we also have a washer and dryer in the cellar. So eventually that's not going to be feasible for somebody. I'm 65 now, and that's not going to be feasible for very much longer, especially with my cerebral palsy. So, but I have no problems with the proposed addition that they put forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Cool. Anything else? We're good. I did receive one email about this. The email itself was from a Brian Berg, who is kind of across the street, diagonal neighbor.
Yes.
Of course, if I had been, maybe had 10 minutes before the meeting, I could have found this ahead of time. He said, basically, I have nothing to add and do not have an objection or anything to add to the proposal. So basically, he just chimed in and said it sounded good to him. He is basically right. He's right where the village kind of plows the snow when they come on College Court. They kind of dumps it in his front yard.
Straight,
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yes.
It does dump in his front yard.
Yeah, it's kind of, the College Court's a tiny little road. If you guys walked it, it's tiny. So, okay. Board members, anything to ask of the applicants? Any clarification questions at this stage of the game? Yeah, Rebecca.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one comment sort of before you launched into conversation, which is just to note that the lot overall is substantially undersized for the zone it's in. It's almost half what what the 25% number is typically based on for that zone. So we definitely, we tried to make it not be in the setback, so it wasn't encroaching. And so it sort of does have the build, as you can see, like the buildable envelope. And if it had anything approaching what would typically, what those percentage numbers were based on, it would have, we wouldn't be here today. But I just wanted to say that we definitely tried to mitigate which things we needed variances from and keep it, as compact as we could relative, to the need. The house itself is very small, wouldn't be very accessible. Even adding the additional living space was about like being able to get around furniture if you needed to and that sort of thing. Like right now, the dining room table, it takes up one of two small spaces besides the kitchen kind of. So Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there too, that the lot was, I think it's 9,000 and change, and the zone is for 15 or 20.
Yeah, the zones are bigger.
Off the top of my head.
So let's touch base on that real fast. Well, since Rebecca brought up those points, guys, let's talk briefly about. There's a couple that like it's a massively undersized lot. Like many of our villages, a non-standardized lot, and has a small house on it. It's pushing the edge in terms of its coverage already. The proposals does meet all the setbacks requirements that are asked to meet. It's a 50-foot setback from the back parcel. The side yard setbacks, it's pre-existing lots, so they're able to build close to that north side of the line. Looks like you tried to keep the 15-foot setback from the property line along the roadway because there's a corner lot. So trying to manage that. So they managed all those things in the design, working within the paradigms of an undersized lot and still trying to keep it close to 25%. Okay, so that's the application before us, and that's why they're appealing, right? So Tim, is everything rolling okay for you right now? Any questions or anything to input? Are you listening and you're okay with things?
Good. I understand. And
You're listening. Yep. Your job is done. You analyze, you kick it this way if it comes this way. All right.
I'm anticipating the outcome.
Right. There you go. All right. Is there any more public input at this stage of the game? Board members, do you have any questions during the public hearing phase for the applicant or the public or anything like that? Okay. All right. Let's close the public hearing. Public hearing is now closed, and we're going to start at 7:56 p.m. We are now going to start the ZBA public meeting. All right. And the meeting is now where the board will discuss the various points that we have about this parcel and try to analyze whether we think it should pass or not. Okay. With an area variance. Okay. With an area variance, we look at several key tests. Every ZBA in the state of New York looks at several key tests for a zoning board of appeals area variance. Okay. There's 5 questions we asked ourselves, and then these are not like, they don't have to pass each one. There's really discussion points, and then we vote whether we think they basically comes down to, we feel like the merit of the piece outweighs any detriment to what the impact of the neighborhood, impact of the village, and things like that. Okay. So from the ZBA's perspective, we kind of weigh these 5 points to help focus our conversation. All right. And then we go ahead and vote as a board. Basically, do we think that it outweighs the detriment? Okay. Cool. All right. Let's talk about, all right. Let's talk about this real fast, whether we think that this, with an undesirable change, the first question is whether it's an undesirable change, okay, would be produced in the character of the neighborhood or the detriment to nearby properties. Would this addition basically be a detriment to nearby properties? Any thoughts on that from the board? What do you guys think?
Apparently.
I'm not getting a feel that there's going to be a huge amount of impact to the neighborhood. I mean, it sounds like my only concern would be the change in light on the northeast side from a single story addition. But I don't think the height is going to be too bad for that sort of impact. But I don't think the neighborhood itself is going to be massively impacted. Okay. Okay. Anything, anything else on that one, guys? No, pretty much like, Mike, you comfortable with that one? Feel like it's gonna make a big change or not? No. Okay. All right. Now the question is, the next question we have is whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance. Okay. So if we take their real, like my understanding of their feeling of what they're trying to do is basically create a house structure that they continue to stay in. Okay. Which involves single floor living. It's an age-in-place design. That's one of the biggest things that we've looked at for the village, and the reality is we have an aging population. And we want, I mean, that's village-wide. That's kind of one of our goals is what does age-in-place look like? And this is what they're trying to do. So the question is, is there any other way on this parcel, all right, that we can meet this goal other than what they're proposing? Okay. Thoughts?
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, I mean, there doesn't seem to be a lot of wasted space in the addition. It's not like they're bumping it out to put a, you know, a greenhouse off the back or anything like that. Well, talk to me, Rebecca. I do have one question for you on the plan itself. When we're looking at that first floor plan, is that a porch coming off that south side of the building? Yeah,
No,
it is. Just steps.
uh,
Oh, it's just steps.
just steps,
Yep.
it's just
I
a
just found,
stoop.
I found the elevation.
Okay, yeah, it's just a stoop down to the grade. They might do a little seating area down there, but not another deck. They
Okay.
have like the existing shed opens out to that same kind of grade level, so if they tried to put anything there, it would be problematic.
Okay. All
And
right,
we
so
were
it's re-
trying to, we were also just trying to keep the ground cover down still.
Yeah. Peter and Debbie, where you're currently parking right in the front of the house, basically the front right corner. You're muted. Yeah.
There you
Got
go.
him.
Go ahead. Maybe answer now.
Yes, we park right in
In the
front of
front.
the house, right in front of the stairs there,
You're right.
right, to come up.
Okay, so this back door on the new addition, that's really just an access to the backyard, right? Because that's inside the fence line. Is that correct?
And also there's a door that goes out to the street, so you
Oh.
can access from there.
What do you find is your general flow pattern? Do you find yourselves flowing through the front door or through the back door of your house?
It all depends, if with groceries and whatever, you're
Yeah.
closer to the kitchen, so it depends on the time of year. So
Oh my God, yeah.
when
Like-
it's
like
snow or
everyone up
whatever,
here.
when it's snowing, you're going through the front door, and when it's nice, you're able to get right to the kitchen. You don't have to go through the living area to bring the groceries through and whatever.
Okay, cool. All right. I'm just trying to get a feel for basically like, are there any other things we can think about in terms of like, you know, just because, you know, you guys have been thinking about this for months or years, and I've been thinking about it a lot less than that.
Yes.
So, all right. Okay. What do you guys think? My board, you guys think if there's anything else, any other way to
To create more space from not anything but more space.
right? Yeah, I mean, you know, if we had to reduce it 300 feet, we'd be reducing, you know, because that's kind of what we need to do to come inside the size. And I think that it's about 600 square foot. Is that what you said? Total addition size, Rebecca? Yeah, okay. So we'll be cutting this addition size in half, based on the drawings. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is basically that I'm sure these have been thought about for design parameters and et ceteras. I mean, the only thing is like, you know, if you want to start playing games of like dropping closets or squishing buildings, that's kind of like, you know.
Yeah, but even that, I mean, we have like a broom closet right now in the basement. I have a lot of the stuff, you know,
Hanging
going
on the
down
stairs.
on the stairs as you're going down. I said, this is another dangerous spot. So I'd like to have some place to put the broom and
Right.
and the vacuum and stuff like that, because right now you try to accommodate the space that you have, but it's also a little dangerous going down the stairs that you have stuff on the side of the wall.
All right, it's a true. Now, is your washer and dryer in the basement currently, or is that?
Right now, that's upstairs.
Okay,
So
that's upstairs.
that'll be coming downstairs.
Oh,
I
is
took
that-
I took it out of the basement when we moved here because
Yeah.
I'm not a lover of going up and down the basement stairs with you know,
Basket.
laundry basket.
Yeah.
So, and then we moved it upstairs, but I would be moving it down, you know, to this floor because I don't want to have to go upstairs to do laundry.
Okay, so this is true, like you've been putting laundry, cleaning supplies, kitchen, dining, and bedroom in the entire first floor. So you're
Right.
the only steps you'd be dealing with are the steps from the street level into the house.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because Pete even was thinking the other night, he said, what if we had to be taken out by ambulance? How are we getting out? They're pushing you through the
You
window?
know, throw me down the stairs and pick me up in the
Or-
bottom.
Or how are you gonna get down? They said they're going to put you in a bag and carry
There's a
you
very
down, I
narrow
guess.
staircase going
Very-
up,
yes.
and each steps is different in heights.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
think I
It's
think
one
they
of
build the
those.
stairs after they put the building up.
Yeah.
So whatever room they have to go up.
Yeah.
We had,
All right.
we had to order a split bed spring because they
Yeah.
couldn't take up a queen one.
Yeah, we couldn't
Yep.
take the queen bed up. It was like, okay.
Cool. All right, board, you guys have anything on that one? All right. Next question, is the variance substantial? Define substantial. That's always the game of the board, right? Is this 5% a substantial increase compared to, the actual, like, they'd be fine at 25%. They're not okay at 30%. The 30% of lot coverage is that extra 300 square feet on an undersized lot. So is it a substantial thing?
I mean, if you just think of going from 25 to 30, that's about what?
25%.
Increase?
Yep.
20% increase.
20%, 5 of 20.
Yeah, yeah,
Five
so
of
a
20.
20%.
Yep.
Again, defined substantial.
Well, that's the game, right? He
That
feels
is quite a gray area, right?
oh yeah, it's awesome. That's why we're the zoning board of appeals.
Right.
You know, good questions. Like, I mean, I guess, yeah, I don't know. All right, Andy?
I was only gonna say, because the lot is undersized, it makes it more substantial than it would be if it were a normal sized lot. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
Right?
Very true.
The lot is small and therefore it meets that 25% threshold.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be having a meeting at all.
Right. Yeah, but it was a regular sized lot. It was another, 10 feet wider. It'd be fine.
Right, exactly.
All right. Do you guys think that the variance would have an adverse impact on the environmental conditions or physical conditions in the neighborhood? So it's not just character, it's now physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah. All right, everyone's favorite question is whether the alleged difficulty is self-created. This is like the best question ever that the zoning board of appeals. They always ask us, do we think that a lot of times our applications come in and it's like, I want to put up whatever. And it's always the question is it a self-created hardship? So basically, did the applicant create this problem by asking for this variance? I mean, it's kind of like it's one of those questions.
Yeah.
That's really a funny question.
Yeah, it is. Because I mean, so often it's like basically they're asking to build in an area that is not allowed to be built in. So how is it not self-created, right? So by self-creation, what you're really looking at in this case is you're really looking at, sometimes there's a right of way that goes to your parcel. Sometimes there's things that are entirely out of your control, like the lot was changed. Just things happened to your lot that you had absolutely no control on. I mean, this lot hasn't changed from when you guys bought it, I assume, right? It's been the same size lot since you bought it, right? So the need for, like, now the question is aging a self-created hardship, right?
If you know how to avoid
Yeah,
it,
how do I stop that one then?
you're wasting your time on the Board of Appeals, man.
Come on. Yeah. So, I mean, the desire to stay in Canton and age in place and build a house that moves with you, is that a self-created difficulty? Other options would be, if we look at the realistic options, would be moving, right? I mean, and then I would argue, I mean, in the village of Canton, I mean, you could find something eventually maybe, but you'd probably have to renovate it to be age in place. I mean, that's the way most of these structures are in Canton right now. They're not single floor living. They're not designed for age in place.
Right.
So I've talked lots. Caitlin, what do you think about all this?
Sorry, I'm quieter than I usually am. There's a huge delay. I don't know. My computer's running really slow tonight. So just
Yeah,
trying
I
to
saw-
take it all in, but I've pretty much agreed with everything that's been said so far.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so I saw the delay. I say your name and then it's like a wait, and then you respond. So, yeah. Mike, what are you thinking?
As a aging person, I can
Self-created, right?
understand what they mean, what they're, and I live upstairs, so I know exactly what they mean. I don't see where any of those, they've created any problems by doing this. It's,
Okay.
the neighbors seem to agree, and I did a drive-by and, we'll check. You see, right now, I don't see anything that red flag to me anyways.
Right. Okay. Great. Okay. All right. So I'm getting a general feel for the board. Let's throw a wrinkle in there, guys. All right. So as my board notes, there is a new zoning law that is currently being adopted by the Village of Canton. Okay. It's changing all the zoning maps for Canton. All right. Now, this zoning law has been adopted by Canton. It's been approved by Canton. It's now at the Secretary of State. Secretary of State has to vet it. And as soon as they give us a date, then we go live with it. Okay. So we're in that limbo land where we are still under the old law, right? And we're just waiting for the new law to hit. All right. This parcel is going to be rezoned and under the new law into residential multifamily. Okay. Instead of R1, it's going to be residential multifamily. The codes on the residential multifamily. All right. So for the public who are now listening to this, there's public hearings, public meetings about this for the last, these zoning laws were under discussion for 2 years. There's been a bunch of public stuff about it. Of course, COVID suppressed our attendance at the public hearings, which makes sense. But this is going to be rezoned into residential multifamily. Okay. And what that means for lot coverage, instead of being a building lot area coverage, it's going to be impervious surfaces. In this zone for impervious surfaces, the percentage is going to be raised to 35%. Okay. So let me just check that real fast to make sure I gave the right number. Got to check my paper copy because it's not online yet. Tim, did I give the right number?
You did.
Awesome. All right.
You can, I just want to point out, that lot, that zone was existing, it's an R2, not an R1.
Yes, it's an R2.
Yeah, and then it's gonna go to a residential multifamily.
Okay, thanks. I said R1. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, also, when you can go look at the electronic version of that law where it's posted on the village website.
Right.
If you go to village law, then you can download it to Word, and you can navigate through it that way if you want.
Right.
Just for everybody's general use.
Right. Rebecca, this might impact you more than anyone else going forward. Okay. All right. So the fact of the matter is, right, we're going to vote on based on the existing lot area coverage. However, my understanding is even if we turn this down because we feel like it's a substantial change, we feel it's not worth it, whatever. The fact of the matter is that the applicants could easily come back as soon as the new law is adopted and put that same building permit before Tim. Okay, and the size of lot coverage would be okay. Okay, however, since that law is not in play right now, we are still, but that would be Tim's interpretation. I can't speak for how Tim would interpret that new application. That'll be up to Tim, and they could come back before us if they wanted it. But basically, we are, like, the fact of the matter, the reality is if they're looking at 30% lot coverage, there's a slightly different calculation that's involved for the new law because impervious surfaces as opposed to building envelope. So it'll be like driveway calculations, covered porches, sheds, all those things would go into the impervious surfaces calculation. My impression is, okay? Tim would be doing what Tim's doing, and we may hear later. But anyhow, so that's a very real consideration going forward, is that, you know, there's that side of it. All right. Any questions on the board on like what's coming our way on that one? Mike, was that thought? You're shifting.
Now it's just, I'm shifting my knee, it's bothering me, that's all.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Fair enough.
Again, we're back to the aging process again.
Yeah. All right, the stairs, yeah. Here you go. All right. Okay. All right, so what do my board think? Do you guys want to talk anymore since, you know, you guys have been so chatty? You guys want to talk more about this, or do you guys want to go ahead and vote on whether we allow this variance or not? Move to the vote. Vote. All right.
Vote.
All right, let's do that. So let's go ahead and so we talked about our 5 conditions, right? Whether it's an undesirable change, I'm just going to go ahead and talk through them again to make sure I understand what the board is thinking on these things. Whether undesirable change would be produced in the character of the neighborhood, my feeling was people were like, no. Is that no? Okay, is that correct? Okay. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant could be achieved in a feasible alternative to the variance. No. Okay. Do we think the request of the variance is substantial? Barb, what do you think, Barb?
I think people need to learn how to write more succinctly.
All right, we're gonna run on New York State. All right, I love it.
Yes.
Oh, come on, you've never seen this sort of language in all the other board work you've done?
Oh, a million times, but it's the easy way out. We'll let somebody else make a decision
Yeah, kick it to an
down the
appeals board.
road as
Yeah.
opposed to making it be clear, but.
Yep. What do you guys think? Yeah, no?
I personally don't consider this substantial. Doesn't feel substantial to me. Completely
know.
subjective.
All right, cool. Do we think it's going to be an adverse impact on the neighborhood?
Environmental.
Environmental and physical. Yep, physical and environmental. So like, is I gonna knock down 5,000 trees? Are they gonna change, you know, put up a wind farm? No. Just going. All right, I think I'm gonna go with no on that one as well. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created.
Aging, yes.
I mean, aging, no. At this location, I mean, this is not, I mean, it is self-created, basically. The request for variance is self-created. I mean, I don't think that it's not something outside their control. I mean, someone can come in and, like, you know, declare the back half of their parcel was theirs. You know, there's a bunch of things with that, you know. So yeah, self-created. I would say, I might be speaking for people here. What do you think? Mike, am I getting a head nod from you or am I?
Yeah, I agree that it's
Okay.
self-created.
Okay. Cool. Barb, you okay with that?
Yeah, I could argue with that, but I'm not.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
No, I mean, that's just a perspective thing.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
I can accept that it
Okay.
seems created.
All right. Okay. So now we look at the voting aspect. Okay. So we're gonna have. I'm gonna go in let's see, my last meeting, I think I went alphabetic by first name. This time we'll go in tenure on the board order, okay? So we'll have Mike vote first, Caitlin second, and Barb third, and Andy will watch. Okay, so here's the question, okay? I'll put the question before you, all righty? Benefit to the applicant, okay? A aye vote does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood or the community. So an aye vote allows the variance, okay? A nay vote says no variance, go back to the drawing board, okay? So an aye vote is we keep it, we pass it, we're good. The one thing I do want to do after we vote is we talk about whether we want to modify or we want to add any conditions to this variance, okay? All right, sometimes we can add, like our last variance, we added a gutter to it. So, okay, so the question is, do we add any conditions to this variance? Okay, so we're gonna go with tenure on the board. Mike, you get to vote first, aye or nay.
Aye.
Caitlin,
Aye.
thank you. And Barb,
Aye.
aye, great. And Conrad also votes aye. Great, all right, so we are passing that variance. We're allowing the construction of that. But let's talk about any, is there anything that we need to do to preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood? Anything that we can think of that we saw in the drawings that we're concerned about? Question for the applicant, are you planning any sort of fencing between you and the neighbors on the far
Already
side?
there. Yes.
Just what's existing.
Just what's existing? Yeah, the north side, Barb, was there a fence there? Did I miss that one?
Yes.
Yes, it's existing already.
Okay. Great, okay. I can't think of anything. Can you guys think of anything that we want to add? Has to be painted bright pink with purple trim? No. No, we wouldn't do that. Design standards here. Okay. All right, is there anything else to add at this point from the board? No? All right, well, great. Thanks very much, guys. I will get that document off to Tim. And that is allowing this area variance up to the size as proposed in their diagram, that 300 square feet. A variance on the overall lot coverage size. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Meeting's closed.
Thanks, Conrad. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Conrad.
You're welcome, Tim. Have a good one.
You too. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Me. We clicked it.
Barb, you good?
I'm good. I'm closing up here.
Oh, no worries. No. You're gonna check in because, you've only had Zoom meetings with me so far, so.
I'll have a question for you. In the future, would